What is it exactly what you do? So to make things clear for the other person, I always give the same response. I say, I develop the mindset you need to do the things you want to do. I work with little companies and I can coach teams until up to 10 people, no more than 10. Now I work with one that are 6 and 1 CEO. And I go to their office or their branch, speak with the people, and then when I do it personally, because it's a methodology I follow, they come to my office.
Hi everybody, welcome to Charlie's in Sotogrande podcast. Before I get introducing you to who I've got as a guest today, please can I ask you to subscribe? That does help us a lot. Thank you very much. So who's with us today? Today we have Carolina Collado. Carolina is a personal coach, a private coach who can help you with confidence, connections, clarity, all that sort of stuff. So we'll get into it. I don't know much about this, so I'm really excited to have Carolina with us here today. Carolina, you're very, very welcome.
Thanks for having me, Charlie. It's my pleasure.
Great. So as I explained in the introduction there, you are a coach. Okay, but before we get into that, how would you, Carolina, introduce yourself to somebody that has never met you? What would you say about yourself?
Well, I'd go the usual way. I would say, hello, my name is Carolina Collado. Shake hands. I'd rather go the Spanish way, kiss, kiss.
Okay.
And then I'd continue saying about my profession, as you said before. I'm developing personal and professional coaching. I'm completely passionate about it.
Okay.
And I started a little bit by chance in this world because my studies and my academics is from another branch. I mean, I studied business and management. And life goes on, so out of the sudden I decided to go into this world, and I'm very happy about it.
I'm very interested because I also have a background in business and management. That's what I did, international marketing. I've worked for multinationals around the world. And when I came here, one of the things I nearly started doing was becoming a personal coach. Okay, because I thought I had enough gray hair. I had enough experience. I have been on the other side of a personal coach coaching me in multinationals around, let's say, all over the place. So it was an interesting thing. But we'll get onto that later. So is this something you've developed into? Why? Why was it something that you grew into?
Oh, long story. And I think I need to, let me put that in my head, to cut long story short.
Yeah.
I would say that, have you heard about midlife crisis? Midlife crisis?
Your midlife crisis,
midlife
yes.
crisis,
Oh, yes.
yes. So that's what it was when I turned 40. I started to feel bad out of the sudden. So let me explain about it because professionally, I have worked for a company, a logistic company during 12, 13 years. I was the accountant manager. And at some point I decided to quit and devote myself to my kids.
Okay.
By my 40s, when I turned 40s, they were growing up, as every kid does. And I was having more spare time, but it was not a question of free or spare time. It was that uncomfortable feeling you have when you need a mentally or intellectual challenge. Yeah. And I was lacking that.
Okay.
So a good friend of mine spoke to me about, she's a psychologist, and I have always been very fond of this word. She spoke to me about this coaching course that she did in Madrid, changed her life, although she came from psychology career, and invited me to accompany her to that big event. I was reluctant at the beginning because I thought it was going to be something like Tony Robbins or that kind of coaches.
Rah, 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 and go, go, go.
Let's go, and it doesn't go with me, with my way of being. So, but well, in the end, I said, why not? Let's give it a go. And I went there with her, and to my surprise, there were a lot of professional people, not only coaches, but journalists, politicians, everything with a voice to speak about their experience through coaching. And given that I didn't want to go back, although it was an option on the table, to my former profession, I decided to enroll myself in the biggest Spanish coaching school, which by that time had a branch in Malaga.
What's the name of it?
EFIC.
EFIC.
EFIC, yeah. It's a big one.
How do you spell that?
It's in Spain. Yes, EFIC.
EFIC, okay.
Yeah, and it's based in Spain, and South America is growing a lot.
Yeah.
So I went into, I spent the next 10 months commuting to Malaga from Friday to Sunday. Not funny.
Yeah.
To do my studies, and I think it's the best decision I've ever had.
Right. Cool.
Well, that's how it started.
Yeah. All right, but look, that's fantastic because you had your career, you've raised your children, you got mentally challenged in the sense that you wanted to do more. You found your the best thing you think has happened to you professionally, and so my next question is then, what exactly does a personal coach do?
Yeah,
because
when I'm introducing myself, I come across this question a lot of times
because sports people understand the coach.
But it's specifically what you do. Yes, when I start talking about my profession, I said, yes, I develop myself to personal coaching or professional or executive coaching. I said, okay, blah, blah, I've heard about this, I've read about this, but what is it exactly what you do? So to make things clear for the other person, I always give the same response. I say, I develop the mindset you need to do the things you want to do.
You develop the mindset
you need
I need for the things I want to do.
You want to do on a daily basis.
Okay, and that is professionally. Can it be? I mean, I got a long list here because I thought so.
Oh, I see. It's a long one.
Developing leadership, focusing company resources, managing personal issues. Balancing work and life.
It
goes on and on
and on.
And then, life planning, life vision. So
Health. You can have another paper full of that question, but if you don't have the right mindset, you won't do any of that things.
Excellent. So mindset. All right?
Mindset is all about mindset and making decisions, Charlie. You know that. You've been a coach.
I know that. But I just want everyone out there to perhaps also listen about it. Okay. So you would explain it like that, and how would you start the session? How would you understanding the issues? Do you get clients that go to you because they've been told to go to you? And they must be the difficult ones because they don't believe in what you might want to do and that sort of thing. How do you overcome that?
Well, to start with, when I enrolled myself in the coaching world, I didn't pursue to do it professionally. It was a work for me, for myself.
Okay.
But and then you know that everyone can be a coach. Coach is a word that has been mistreated in that way.
Yeah.
Everything can be coach. Everyone can become a coach. So professional coaching is about respecting the methodology and having a respect for the person sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
So the school I went to, the way I have learned, gave me an accreditation and a certification, which to get that I needed to coach a lot of persons and real clients.
Yeah.
And to show that I have worked for many hours. And that's how I started professionally, by word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Like we say in Spanish, del boca a boca.
Boca a boca, yeah.
My clients still come to me that way.
And where is your offices?
In Torre de Hércules. So when I coach, I work with little companies and I can coach teams until up to 10 people, no more than 10. Now I work with one that are 6 and 1 CEO. And I go to their office or their branch, speak with the people, and then when I do it personally, because it's a methodology I follow, they come to my office.
Okay. Sotogrande.
Sotogrande, nice word.
You live in Sotogrande?
I do. I live here. I've been here for around 15, 16 years. And next September,
Okay, and where do you live in Sotogrande? In
La Reserva.
In La Reserva, okay.
It's a funny story. You want to hear that?
Yes, okay, please.
So, I was born and raised in Algeciras. My family comes from there.
Yeah.
And the reason we moved here because we had friends by that time. I'm a mother of 2 kids, now 15 and 19. So I had very clear that I want my children to be bilingual,
Right.
and to raise them with an open-minded. So the best option was the education that SIS offered.
Right.
So that's why we came here. First, we moved to El Polo, nice organization for a family. And with time, my husband had a crush with La Reserva. When I moved there, when we bought the plot of land, there was completely two houses, completely nothing.
Wow.
And now every time I open the door to walk my dogs, there's a new house in the street. So I say, wow.
That's my fault, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I know it's your fault. Well, but it's a gorgeous place to live. I'm very happy and I feel very lucky to be there.
Good. No, it is. It's a spectacular place, and the school is. I've had lots of come. I've had the headmistress here and talked to her, and she's was telling us about the school and how well it is. And there's a podcast that's come out today, I think, or yesterday, with the LPA, the leading property agents, and I was invited to go across there. But it was Rita from Sotogrande, Ben from Holmes, and myself. We went to Marbella, and and the question was, why Sotogrande as opposed to Marbella? And of course they were deliberately trying to attack us in terms of how boring it is, there's nothing to do and everything else, and
prejudices.
Yeah, but I think we defended ourselves very well, and it came out just sure. He said, well, maybe I should go and live there, because it was it's a lovely thing. And you've seen Sotogrande. When did you first come here? You said
I first come here. I started when my eldest one entered the school at 3. I think it was 2009.
Okay.
But when we moved, it was in 2014.
Right. Yeah.
So
you've seen it develop, and you've seen it before and after COVID, and you've seen how it's gone. The school has got so big, and you've seen how that. What do you think have been the biggest changes?
The biggest changes.
Other than houses going up next to yours.
Yeah, the community. When we came here, we had Spanish friends living here, and the foreign people were most British, English people. Few Americans I've met, but with time I've got friends for every single nationalities. I've met people from Switzerland. I've met French people. I've met English people, Canadian people. Yeah. From all over the world. One of my friends is Norwegian, so I think there's like more than 15 different nationalities, and the community itself has changed a lot. Yeah. You only have to go out to the street and have a look on all the services that Sotogrande has to offer right now. When I moved here first, people told to me, there's nothing here, you will have to still go to Algeciras to buy, to whatever you need, nothing more. Yeah,
that has changed dramatically, because I think you only have to go to Algeciras or to Marbella if you want to go to big shopping, mall, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
Because other than that, everything is here, and you go there for something different as well, because there's things to do.
To change the environment.
Yes, and to see, the different things there are to see.
Other places, yeah.
Because again, Rachel Dent said that there were 60 different nationalities at the school. 60. That's incredible. And I remember visiting a couple of times. I was invited to go and see the culture when they do the food.
The day culture, that they bring food.
Food from different places, and there's so many stalls from so many different countries, and
people,
and it's great to see.
I think the geopolitical situation is helping to that too.
That's true. It's a fact.
It's a fact. People is looking for a safe place to live. If they have the opportunity and the resources, I think this is the best place.
Yeah. No, I keep saying and hammering around, we are the California of Europe. And
the California of Europe.
It's going to be growing from more and more and more. Today I actually talked to somebody, they're saying that, think of Malaga as Los Angeles, and think of Algeciras being San Diego. And everything in between just goes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger all the way down. And that will probably happen over time. It's you and I will be pushing up daisies perhaps, but there's a lot of projects and a lot of things and a lot of people to come. assuming Mr. Trump stops, stirring the world up, because
I'm very curious about it.
yes, to see how it goes.
I was watching a NATO conference with our president at the TV today. Have you heard the news?
Yeah, I saw that. It was
so let's wait and see what happens, especially with Spain.
Yeah. It'll work out, I'm sure. It's one of those things. Sorry for the short interruption. This is one of my tips that I have for any vendors out there. When you come to sell your house, please make sure all your documentation is in order. Because if it's not, it could delay a sale dramatically. Your house probably won't be sold from 1 week to the next. So instruct your lawyer to actually look at all the documents as if they were the buying lawyer, and see and very, very closely inspect what you have. Because the lawyer of anyone who's coming to buy your house will be doing so. And they'll be doing due diligence. And if you are not quite right, that could delay the sale for months even. So it's important to do so. Please look at your documentation. Getting back to coaching, what would you think would be your biggest challenge in setting up your business? I mean, because you are working as an autónoma,
yes.
but linked to a company, a coaching school. How do you define it? A coaching?
Well, I'm not linked to my school anymore because I finished my study, got my accreditation. But as a professional, I joined a global association of coaches, ICF. So that's where I linked to prove that I have
of course, your credentials.
My credentials, my professionality. And I would say to anyone who wants or may feel curiosity about this world or need a person, I might say that coaches are not allowed to work with people who have illnesses.
Who have illnesses?
Illnesses, or need therapy for that.
Yeah.
We have another wonderful branch of specialists, psychologists. We have Maria Sancho just around the corner. I work with healthy people that need a change in their life.
Right.
Probably need emotional company during the process.
Clearly. So setting up this business, what was the toughest challenge for you in terms of getting clients?
Well, it comes, the biggest challenge for me, speaking in public.
Yeah, really?
Really, because it comes little by little. At first, as I told you before, I didn't want to do it professionally.
Yeah.
The thing is that clients came, and I started in 2018. Mm. So I've got a few clients in Malaga where I studied, and it was good, until COVID came, and it changes everything for the good, in my case. With the perspective of time, I had very good memories of that time. I was I broke my feet 3 days before COVID.
After COVID, yeah?
In 2018, and it worked until COVID came. And 3 days before COVID, I had an accident and broke one foot in 10 different places.
How do you do that?
I had an accident. I fell down, and you can imagine. And
so just tripped?
Yeah,
oh
I'm a very sporty woman, and that's a non-negotiable part of my routine, doing sports on a daily basis. So I will remember I was lying in the hospital with a traumatologist saying, "Lady, this is not just a simple sprain. These injuries may need time to heal." I said, no, have another look. I cannot break my foot.
Yeah.
So are you sure about it? So by that time, I needed to use every single tool I have learned. And out of curiosity, 3 days later, we were in lockdown. So everything changes because I joined a platform online where I could work and help not only myself but a lot of people who didn't understand what was happening, who was struggling day after day with their kids at home, sharing the same little space with their family. So it was really challenging doing that.
Wow. So in a way, it's helped you develop your business because you had a sitting audience who was crying out for some sort of communication, some sort of help. And I suppose the use of Zoom, Teams, all these tools.
I think it was Teams by that time.
Teams,
I used Teams, yeah.
Because it's, today it's a common thing. It's all right to live in Sotogrande and work from London or Paris or Berlin or wherever, Warsaw. and you can obviously just pick it up, and it's normal. And it's also normal for companies to allow people to work from home. So that's become the new norm.
It wasn't so usual before COVID, so that was the new thing, and it helped us a lot. So that was really challenging and neutral for me.
Yeah. Were there any sort of pillars of things you had to tell people? I mean, these are the 3 things you need to do every morning, like get up and dress, not stay in your pajamas all day, or make sure you have your meals at the time of having meals. Don't just eat in the morning and then whatever. So keep it normal. Were there any things like that you allowed people to anchor their thoughts and behaviors to, or?
The most important thing at that time was having a good routine. Because everything was mixed up. Yeah. You didn't know when you were working, you didn't know when you were playing with your kids, you didn't know when you have to cook. People didn't get dressed in the whole day, all day in the pajamas, eating, or it didn't work.
And parents had to be teachers at home for
parents
school.
had to be teachers at school. Yeah. So I was very lucky with that, because my kids did online schooling, and it worked really well for them. So mentally, at that time, they were teenagers. Yeah. It helped them too, but so many families didn't have that chance to do it, so it was really, really bad for them. Yeah. And I helped them, helping them, first of all, listening, because people really need to be listened to, and helping them to have a healthy routine.
Mm-hmm. That's so important, I think, which leads me on to a little bit other things that I have personally only in the last 6 months or so. And maybe it's to do with this podcast that I've started, is begun to journal. And I am an early morning riser anyway, so 6:30, 6 o'clock I'm up, and the house is empty, quiet, and I have time just to sit down and reflect and think. And it's so easy to be able to start thinking if you want to write something. And you can write whatever you want, obviously. And there's a little bit of coaching in terms of how you go and do it, because you've got to think, how do you feel today? Do you have any targets and things you want to do during the day? How did you do yesterday? Gratefulness is very important, and what are you grateful for? And it could be, someone stopped and let me go through in the car. As simple as that. That you take, someone let me go by, and or anything like that. And it's really something which I don't think I needed, but
you do.
But I do. But not that I do, but I feel I should have done it. Because I feel better for it. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you discover you needed that?
How?
How did you discover you needed that?
I think maybe his was social media comes in.
One of the tips on social media.
Social media comes in, and then you look at it, and then you look at it.
Why not?
And then I looked at it once, and I looked at someone trying to sell me a book on it, and then, of course, you get bombarded with stuff because of the algorithm. And I said, okay, let's just go into this. Yeah. And it's, fantastic, I think, because, for me, non-negotiable as well is something to do with health. As I get older, things start falling off. And but I'm in the gym with a personal trainer twice a week. I play golf. I try to play at least once a week. I know you're a sporty man. And I do all these bits and pieces.
It's a crime being here and living here and not playing any sport.
I know, absolutely. Someone has to do something.
Let me tell you, Charlie, that you're talking about emotional diary. For me, this is a mandatory exercise in all my processes. I think it's mandatory that you have to write down not only about your emotions, not only about, just take a pen, and everything will start to come out. And all of the sudden, in the next minute, you will start to feel better. So this is the first exercise I propose to my clients when they come. Order your ideas. Find a little target, a little objective, something to do tomorrow. Little by little, your mind is focused. When your mind is focused on something, you feel better.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I've always been someone to sit down the day before and plan my next day. But that was, this is a problem I've got to sort it. This is a problem I've got to sort it. This is an issue I've got to do it.
It's about being organized.
Solving problem. But now it's more like, what can I do positive You know, it's what can I do for me emotionally, what can I do for me physically, what can I do for myself, you know.
It's a way of coaching yourself,
Absolutely.
and everyone can learn to do that.
Yeah.
Not only with emotional diary, because I found a person who didn't like to write, and this is a real case. I was speaking to her like 2 weeks ago, and I said, okay, find something that helps you express yourself. And she started painting, but painting not with like a designer, with a computer. And now she has set up social account in IG on Instagram,
Wow.
but she's selling.
She's selling it. Wow.
Like designing invitations, folders, and that kind of thing. I said, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Because she discovered a talent she had.
I know. Isn't that incredible?
It's incredible, yes, it is.
Coaching often focuses on unlocking someone's potential. Yeah. And you know, if you have somebody who needs personal coaching, I remember the wheel of life, where you get this wheel.
Yeah, the very basic exercise, basic and necessary sometimes.
So, you know, and you have, you know, different things that you're
my work,
yeah, and then you know you go. I'm a 10 out of 10 because I'm a millionaire, but I'm a 1 out of 10 because I don't have any relationships or whatever.
It's never a wheel.
It's never a wheel. So you know you try and think of, and then you work them out. You know, is that unlocking someone's potential to get better at one of those things, or less so of the other, or to be in balance? Because you know sometimes it's better to be a 5 everywhere than a 10. No one goes to 10, no one goes to 1. But you know what I mean. That so the wheel can turn rather than the wheel not being able to turn altogether. How do you unlock people's potential? How do you do that?
I'm not going to discover you my secret. Sorry, you're a coach like me. Well, out of the joke, okay, let me tell you that it's all about balance. As you said, I can be a millionaire and give myself a 10 out of 10 in economy and money, but mentally I feel, so my wheel is not a wheel, it's like triangle, so it doesn't work. Yeah. I remember once that a person asked me, I don't have a wheel, I don't need one, why does it have to be a wheel? Yeah. I said, okay, good for you. What do you need? Yeah. What's your need? And so we came back from scratch, starting to build a new wheel of life. So how do I unlock people's potential? Listening, challenging them with things, especially things they don't want to say or things they don't want to do. Do you know what happened? When I was younger, I was that type of introvert person. I am right now. I'm introvert, I'm shy. So in a group of people, I would never like to stand out. And I'm not talkative type of woman. So I like to listen and I pay attention to a lot of detail. So every time there was a gathering, I came home with a lot of detail and information in my mind. Yeah. And I pay attention to especially what they do not want to say. I can notice sometimes when they are lying or not. I pay attention to the body language. And I also have an education in NLP, neuro-linguistic programmation, which helps me a lot. And I know where to stick. Sometimes it's not pleasant, I must say, but in the long run, at the end, it pays off.
It pays off. Mm-hmm. Right. And you do presumably some sort of measurement of people. I am an INTJ, and in the what do you call it? The psychological test, the personality test. What's it called? Oh, Charlie, it's gone. When you test, and I turned out to be an introvert, a neutral, INTJ.
Well, I use the colors of the colors, the red, blue, and yellow and green.
I know
Have you heard about that? And dynamic, that's the dynamic I work for, especially with teams.
Yeah. Apologies, I can't.
So no, that doesn't matter. So this is the way I can classify.
Yeah,
people.
And you can be too one way, too introvert, too extrovert, all that loud, not so loud, and everything else. One of the things that the community here does, and changing the subject completely, is organizing things. You got the golf, you got the polo, you have this and the other, and then you have social life. The FOF.
Oh, wow. I wish.
Friends of friends.
I wish when I moved here there was a FOF.
Yeah.
It makes life so much fun.
Right. Explain what a FOF is to our audience.
Okay, FOF is a community of a group of women. I think by now we are more than 400 women.
400.
This idea came out of 3 brilliant minds, which are Ana Maria Carracao, a lawyer at Hassan's, Desiree Baró, freelance at best in her area, social media, and Maria Capitan, she's another hostess. Out of the sudden, they decided to communicate all women living here or working here related to Sotogrande in any other way,
right,
and form a community to support each other, to exchange contacts, information, basic needs, wherever, and it's been working really good. It started in 2023. And now in July, they are going to host the next event at one of the reference places in summer here at Gigi's.
At Gigi's, yeah?
At Gigi's, yes. We're looking forward to going to that party. And it's really good.
It's a party that men can't go to. It's only women.
It's only women, sorry. You need to find out. Why don't you set another FOF for men?
A FOF for men.
Yeah, you
men
have
are so stupid they wouldn't do that. Women are much more clever than men, I tell you.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
But you can't imagine how well it works, because we are connected, every year, once or twice, they throw a party, they host an event when we can gather all together in a specific place. They did it at So, in Agora, Chambao, and this one is going to be at Gigi's. During the rest of the year, we are connected through a WhatsApp channel. You can wake up on a Sunday morning and find out in your house you need a plumber, or that you have some kind of leak or whatever, and post a message. In the next 5 minutes, you will have like 10 contacts of persons.
It's like the
who may
Sotogrande
help
community.
you.
There's a one called Sotogrande community as well. It's like the community
Similar,
WhatsApp,
but
similar.
this is bigger.
It's bigger, I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah, I mean every chat on my phone is Sotogrande community, it's a community.
I know.
So events. I don't know wherever. So in every the same messages posted in 3 different chats.
Yeah.
But FOF really works.
Yeah.
Because if you need some clothing alteration, if you need a nanny, if you need vet and you don't know where to attend to, recommendation, experiences.
Tell me one thing. Is it all in Spanish only, or mostly, or do you get?
Most of them are Spanish.
Yeah.
But I think they are foreign people too. Yeah.
So if someone has an issue, wants to be part of FOF, a lady, and they could write in English or in German, maybe not in German.
Will be translated for sure.
Be translated, so someone can see that, because
that
I think would be lovely to get more of the, because I find that in Sotogrande you have groups of, not nationalities, but certainly English speaking, but there are fewer sort of German groups, or there are fewer Norwegian groups, or there are fewer like that. But I'd like to see more. I mean, the fact that I'm doing this in English and not in Spanish is because my audience is in English.
More people,
and reach more people. It's just the international community, and it's for me. I can speak Spanish, I think, all right, and therefore I could do this in Spanish if we had to. And a friend of yours has asked me, please do it in Spanish, and Natalia.
Thanks to her.
Yeah, thanks to her you're here, actually. She says, I can't speak English, but I know who can.
Do wine in Spanish. So now you have a good idea. FOF of men.
A FOF of men. FOF of men.
No, since I came here, I have watched a lot of people try to do something similar to this.
Yeah.
Setting a community with wherever kids, teenagers, and not only at school but outside school too, all failed in time, and FOF don't stop growing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think there's a very big commonality that most houses have a mum or a lady, and therefore it's done that. It's that keeps you together. It's not because we all play football, or it's not because we all go and play, whatever.
No.
It's because we're there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And women are much more caring than men. It's. I know. It's you're much better people than men anyway.
I didn't pretend to say that.
Okay. Let's see. Is there anything you think that I haven't asked you that you feel I should have asked you?
Tricky question. I can see.
Is there anything that you want me to ask you that I haven't asked you?
This is a question I end of my sessions. I said, is there something you wish I would ask you about? Yes, this is a key question because it gives the person the opportunity to check itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have enjoyed a lot talking to you here, so what's this one? No, it was my pleasure, and I think I would say much more, but go with the flow.
No, we can go with the flow. I mean, there's a lot more, and we can go into the detail of your profession, but I think that's it's about the community, and I think the issue about the FOF is fantastic that it exists in this community. Mm-hmm. That and any ladies out there that wish to join it, I will put something down here in the below and the FOF contact, so that women can come in and you can then go and see whether they want to join them or not, and it would be good.
Yes.
It's been a challenge to find someone who speaks English that's from the Spanish community, so to speak. And
well, I try.
And and I'm also someone else is coming who's agreed to come, which is Maria Sancho. She says she would like to do it, so that's fantastic as well. Because I really would like to have a bit more of the national people here.
Spanish people.
We are in Spain, we are in Sotogrande, and it's. I wouldn't say it's not only out of respect. It's where we are.
Exactly. Spanish people here is a big part of the community.
Of course, yeah.
Well, I think Sotogrande is really the place to live.
Yeah.
I'm so happy here, and I feel very lucky because I've had so many experiences. I've been lucky enough to raise both of my kids here, to enjoy sports. I love running. I run in front of your office.
Yeah.
Very often, yeah. I've been in every single club in the area, every single gym, playing my sports. So
what is your sport?
I am a gym girl. And I do play. I turned into paddle world recently.
Paddle
and I am
board.
Paddle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's becoming very popular among women. And a friend of mine is setting a group of paddle women.
And you play in La Reserva?
I play in La Reserva and I play in Racket Center.
In the Racket Center, okay, with Manolo there. Is it Manolo still? Yes.
His nephew Carlos.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Manolo, I see him very little.
Yeah, he's probably retired now.
Well, he goes there, but not as much as before.
He likes to play more golf, I think, now.
Well, this is for the next the next 10 years. My challenge is to learn play golf.
Well, there you are. I mean, that's you must play golf if you live in Sotogrande.
Yeah, we are members of La Reserva Club. We had a membership, and we've never tried.
You're a member of the golf club and never play?
Yeah, and we never play.
Wow. Well, now I was...
For the retirement, maybe.
No, don't start too late, because it's very frustrating. But now I was talking to Rita Jordao from Sotogrande SA, and the new Almenara Golf Academy. She said one of the reasons that she thinks, and I believe so, will be successful is because women can go and practice and learn without the intimidation of going into a golf club and feeling that... I can't do this. And you see some chap hitting it, 150, 200 meters, and, you start and you can hardly hit it 10. And that's a lovely way of going in without any pressure. It's a great family thing as well to do. And I'm just looking forward to...
That's good, especially if you're a beginner.
Yeah, and you can go there with no pressure.
No pressure.
And also not expensive. So a lot of people will relatively not expensive. You know what I mean? You don't have to play Valderrama or Real Club level prices or La Reserva indeed, but there it's fantastic. Carolina, it's been wonderful to have you, and thank you for coming along. And hopefully we'll have you go on. In another year, I'll have you on and see we can talk about other things that have happened and the parties of the FOF. And
I'd be very happy to be here with you.
All right, great. Thank you very much
Charlie.
indeed. Okay, bye bye. There you are, guys. Carolina Collado. What a wonderful person.